Hello, everybody. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, and we are meeting here for another love circle. I am so excited about today's topic because today we are talking about how to take back your power in relationships. So, as human, I believe our our biggest struggle is in relationships, in building new relationships, in keeping the ones we have, making them harmonious. And most of our problems, our emotional problems, they also come from our relationships. So today we'll be going a little deeper. This session of Love Circle is going to be definitely a little bit heavy lift than what we have been talking about in the past. I got like a whole list of notes here that I am so excited to go through. So let's start. What is our power? And if, in case you guys see, hear a kitten in the background, he's outside the door. We just got a kitten this week. Very exciting, but very naughty. It's like having a toddler all over in the house. Okay, so what is the power that a human has that we give away, or someone else can take it away from us, and we feel like somebody took my power and now I don't have any power in my hand? Like, what do I do? I'm feeling hopeless. I'm feeling helpless. What is that power? So that is the first question I want to start with. What is that power? That power is our ability to think and choose. Us human have the ability to think and choose that other animals don't have. We are superior creation because we have that ability. So when it feels like I'm not able to think on my own, I am thinking based on what's happening around me or what somebody else is doing around me, that's when I feel like I don't have any power. Now, this is all how we feel, how we perceive. There's no such thing as a thing, physical thing labeled power, and now it's going in different hands and we don't have it in our hand. This is all our perception. But that perception is running our life. It's running our life, it's ruining our life, it's running our relationships, it's ruining our relationships. We want to understand what is this power, this power to think, and this power of choice that we are talking about. We are going to understand how we give it away and how we can keep it with ourselves. So, as we move through today's session, I want you to keep in mind one relationship where you can just put all your relationships together. If you have a difficult relationship, it could be from the past, it could be from the present, it could be from the future. If you keep that right in front of you, it will be so helpful to go through this process that we are about to go through. So now we are starting that the power that we're talking about that we perceive giving away in a relationship is our power to think independently. That whatever I'm thinking, it's coming from me and it's not getting convoluted by somebody else. Even though most of the time we are thinking as reactive based on what someone else is doing, whenever we go to that place, there's a part within us like, you know what, that's not right. I don't think so. I have the power. It's that our inner self is guiding us that, hey, you don't have power in this moment right now. So that is what we're going to focus on. Now, when we are thinking or when our thoughts get, processed, our thoughts are coming from our belief system. Our belief system is our subconscious mind. Subconscious mind gets programmed from heavily from 0 to 7 years old, but it does keep getting programmed afterwards as well, especially if you're close to somebody, like in an intimate relationship. That person has a big influence on what goes in your subconscious mind, because subconscious mind is also a feeling mind. And when we are involved with those feelings, especially a powerful emotion as love, then whatever they are saying, if they are saying you're the worst person, you never been good to me, you're not a good person, you're not an honest person, it's all going into your subconscious mind. So what are we going to do? We are going to learn this technique called filters. Whatever you're thinking, whatever filter you have on, it's literally like a pair of glasses that you have on, that's what you're going to see. So when the other person is influencing you and you are under their influence, they got to you, you have a victim filter. You're like, something is wrong with me. Why everyone is bad to me? We are going to talk about all the victim filters. That's how you give away your power. We go into that victim mode and we give away all of our power. We are going to learn all of that. So you have it right in front of you. When it comes to surface, you're like, I got myself. I'm about to give away my power and I'm not going to. And then we are going to learn empowered filter, how to quickly switch to the other side. It's almost like having a cheat sheet. So, you're going about your day and then somebody says something and your mind goes into the victim and you're like, I caught you, and you're going to take it to the empowered way right away. So you don't get lost in the victim mode. So you're not just giving away your power all day. We want you to feel empowered in each and every moment. So we are going to be learning about eight victim filters, and we are going to be learning about 10 empowered filters. So these are ways of thinking. These are the filters you're going to keep in front of you no matter what somebody is saying and no matter who that person is. It could be, your parent, it could be your own child, it could be your current spouse, your ex-spouse, it could be, a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be a boss, it could be a random stranger. Doesn't matter. We do have relationship with all the humans, but the close one, they hurt a little bit more. It seems like they do get to have more power on us, but we want to bring all the power and we want to keep it here. So you get to create the life that you desire, that you want, and not get influenced by other people's opinion. This is going to be so magnificent. This is going to be so powerful. And I am so excited that we are learning this here. Okay, so first we're going to learn about victim filter. This is how you want to take it. Whenever this thought comes to your mind, you want to flip it right away. And once I give you the empowered filter, it will be so much easier to just switch it to that. Okay. The first one is, whenever you find yourself looking for safety, like whenever you're looking for safety, whenever you're like, I just want to be safe, just to be on the safe side. Like when you're talking like that, deep down, unconsciously, you don't feel safe. So just become aware when you don't feel safe and when you're looking for safety from circumstances, from situation, even when you're having a conversation with somebody, you know that this is going to maybe tick them off and you want to feel safe. So you're not even speaking your truth. Just become aware, oh, I am giving away my power right now because I am using a victim filter. Whenever we are seeking safety, we are not living our potential. We are not living as our higher self. We are not even living as a human being at that time. We're just being an animal who's afraid and is looking for shelter. That's not a joyful way of being. So whenever you find yourself looking for safety, become aware this is something that requires shifting. Whenever you look for safety, especially in a relationship, and that will be when you start avoiding conflicts, start avoiding speaking your truth. That's when you are giving away your power as well. So the second one is blame. Whenever you find yourself blaming, I know this is going to be hard, especially if somebody has treated you really bad in a relationship. and you want to sit there, you want to blame them how bad they are, you want to complain about it, you want to do all that stuff. But what's happening at that moment, you're you have the blame filter on, and they have all the power and you have no power right now. They have all the power because you're blaming them. You're blaming them for how you're feeling. What's missing? Ownership is missing, and we're going to learn in a few how that is going to change your life. So whenever you're blaming, you go into blame mode. No, one, you're giving away your power. You're in victim filter, and it needs to be changed. It needs to be shifted, and you're the one who can do it. Because all these things that we are talking about, they don't happen outside of us. They all happen in here. Who can change anything that's happening here? We can. No one else can. Only I can change that. And I have to make the decision to change that. So today, as we are moving along, make that decision, make that commitment to change it. The next one is, it's not my fault. Whenever right away unconsciously you start defending yourself in your head, for example, the food burned, and you're just thinking, when he comes and he complains about it, I'm just going to tell how busy I am and I had to change kids' diaper. Like, it's all running in your head. No one is there blaming you. No one is saying anything, but your mind is already creating a protection story. How I'm going to say it's not my fault. We don't have to do that. You don't have to run all those stories. In that moment, realize you're giving away your power. It's a victim filter, and it really needs to change. But also pay attention to where in your life you find yourself that you're trying to protect yourself by saying, it's not my fault. Like, got a flat tire, and the first thing comes to your mind is like, it's not my fault. Maybe there was a nail on the road, and that was the only place I had to go. You have to pay very close attention to how your mind is running these thoughts. That's where you get to know yourself, by getting to know your own thoughts, because we produce so many thoughts all the time. We're not aware of what's going on in our head. We're just aware of like maybe something that's floating in the front that's important right now. But all the time, our mind is generating so many random thoughts, so many random thoughts. The next one is negative self-talk. Whenever you find yourself saying bad things to yourself, so that's my specialty. That's where my clients are not even allowed to say any bad words for themselves in front of me. And they all know that I'm going to stop them no matter where we are. When you are bashing yourself, it feels good. In a very, very crazy way, it feels good. Because when you're attacking yourself, it feels safe. That safety creates different kind of chemistry in your mind, and those chemicals we get addicted to. It almost feels like somebody is being intimate with you. That's how it feels to your mind, even though it's detrimental to your energy body, but it feels so good at the same time. Now, that is just a chemical, somebody saying something to you, even if it's bad. And we are saying that to ourselves, but we get hooked onto it. But when you are saying negative things to yourself, hey, you're so stupid, why did you have to do that? Why you're always like this? And you're saying all those things in your mind, you are in a victim filter. You have given away your power to someone else in the relationship. It could be your spouse, when you're telling yourself how bad you are, you didn't say the right thing, you should have done this. You're giving away the power to somebody, but it's not with you in that relationship. So no more negative self-talk. Whenever you find yourself saying, I can't. Now, I can't is one of the ways our subconscious just, stops us. That's when we get stuck. At some point, I decided, I believe, I don't even know, it's like maybe 3, 4 years ago, I decided I am not going to say the word I can't. Try to figure out to speak in a way where I can't become part of it. I do say the word I can't, only with my little one when he's just bothering me and I'm like, mommy just cannot do this right now. That's different. That's me trying to tell him that I am not going to sit there, read something for 30 minutes when I'm tired and he needs to go to sleep. Those are the only moments I have allowed myself. But let's say when it comes to something you really desire to do, maybe you want to go back to school and you're like, I can't because I have to do this, because I have to do that. Maybe you want to travel somewhere wonderful all by yourself and you're telling yourself, I can't. It's a filter in your way of thinking that shuts down every possibility. And us human, we are full of possibilities. The kind of brain that we have, it's designed to find possibilities and opportunities. But when we say I can't, we give away all the power to outside circumstances and situation, and we have no power, and we go into victim mode. And when we go into victim mode, we feel miserable. So pay attention to every time you say I can't. In a relationship, when you say I can't do this, I can't deal with this person anymore. Well, if you're at that place, then you should be thinking of other options in your life. Whenever you just keep saying I can't do this, I can't, just wait a minute and ask yourself, is it true that I cannot, or I just think I cannot? For example, like I'm gonna give you an example from, like, husband and wife. Wife is saying, I can't deal with this anymore, I can't do all the housework, you have to chip in, I just can't. And he's saying, I can't do this. So they both are just fighting. Nobody has power in that moment because they both are stuck in I can't. So ask yourself, is it true that you cannot bear doing the thing that you're doing even for one single moment? If the answer is yes, then you're supposed to be exiting the relationship. But if it's just a can that you throw away just to, um, you know, scare the other person, I can't deal with this anymore, you need to change, that's unhealthy. That's unhealthy. That's an unhealthy thing you're doing that needs to shift. So we need to change and look at, like, what is it in a relationship that I have truly arrived at? I cannot. That requires a heart to heart conversation with whoever that relationship is with. Like, I talk to my little one every now and then, explaining to him, Mommy cannot really sit here for this many hours, talk to you while she has other things to do. So that conversation does come in because it's a little child, the next day they completely forget about what we talked. So that conversation needs to happen again. You can do that if this is something with your child, you can do that over and over. But ask yourself, what is it behind that I can't? Because it's going to keep you stuck in a victim mode rest of your life. And whoever is the person on the other side, or the situation or the circumstances, they are going to have the power. They're going to have all the power. The next one is, this always happens to me. So let's say you're having trouble in a relationship and you're just running in your mind, this always happens to me, people always treat me like that, and you're just going on and on. This is just a filter you have. That's a victim filter. That's how you give away your power to other people, by saying this always happens to me. Is that really true? If you have a conversation with me and I can, like, nitpick it and be able to dissect it and show you, I'll be able to show you, no, it's not true. But your mind is saying it's true. Your mind is constantly going into, like, this always happens to me and people always treat me like that. And it has a whole conversation going on. When you find that in your own mind, change it. Know that this is how you're giving away your power and needs to change. Okay, the next one is, a lot of people in spiritual communities, they talk about it. It's called, it's karma. I deserve it. So many women I have talked to, they think they have done something so bad in their life then now they deserve to be punished and they deserve to have the miserable life that they have. That's not true. That's not how karma works. The way karma works, you're standing here and you're creating motion for the next moment. Maybe yesterday you were mad and you created a negative motion. Today, create a different motion. You can change your karma every single day. You're not stuck with it. We are not limited being. Your karma is not limited. So when you find yourself in a miserable situation in a relationship and you're just stuck there because you're like, this is just what's written for me. Maybe I have done something bad. And if you believe in past life, some people will go into like, maybe I have done so much bad in my past life, and this is how I'm going to get relieved from that bad karma. And I'm just going to stay here and suffer. No, if you believe in past life, you might also believe in a higher power. That higher power is more loving than anything you could have done in your past life, if you're ready to connect with that love. So don't use the karma card to stay in a horrible situation and make yourself suffer and stay stuck in that suffering. Just don't do that. You have a choice. You have the ability to think. You have the ability to choose a different thought, a different situation. You have the ability to create something else in your life. You have that ability. Never forget that. The next one is everyone is against me. So when we feel like everyone is against me, and I personally have felt at a point in my life that everyone was against me. That was one of the lowest emotional time in my life. I even felt God is against me too. I'm smiling right now because, when you're in darkness, all you see is dark. The truth here is, our mind wants to say, everyone is against me, complete shut off, victim mode, can't move forward, everyone else has power, whoever is against me, and I have no power. That's what it's doing. But we can ask ourselves, is that really true? People say things to us how they are feeling, what they are thinking, what is their opinion of the situation. None of that is true. That's just their opinion. What you're feeling, what your opinion is, just your opinion. It might not be true either. So you have to ask yourself in that moment, is that really true? And you will discover it's not. It's not true. However, someone is sharing their opinion with you, they might be telling you that, I think you're the worst person. And then someone else come and they say, I think you're the worst person. And you're just thinking, oh, because everyone is saying it must be true. No, it's not. It's just them projecting how they feel inside onto you. If they are feeling worst within them, if they think they are the worst person in the world, they are going to think you're the worst person in the world too. Now, this part, if you take nothing from this conversation, take this part, just this part, we say and project whatever we are inside. If I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, hey, you're such a wonderful person, you're beautiful, you're brilliant, I think that about myself. If I don't think about that about myself, it's going to be very hard for me to say, and you'll be able to feel the fakeness in it. We all have had friends who, when we were in a downtime, they wanted to be kind and nice, and they told us, hey, you're wonderful, you're so powerful, you're gonna get through this. And we could see and feel it's so fake. Like, those words don't have power. Most likely she didn't really feel that about herself, and she just wanted to say something nice to you out of the goodness of her heart. But when a person is projecting how they really feel about themselves and they say it, you feel the impact of it. You take on that energy and you take on that truth. So, of course, we all have the responsibility to fix that within us. So, when we are praising somebody, it's genuine. And you can only say something to somebody else when you really feel that about yourself. Sometimes we like to downplay ourselves. Maybe I'm not even there yet, but I think you are. That's for another time and for another conversation. But when someone come and say horrible things to you, they're just projecting how they feel inside of them. Instead of taking on what they are saying, I challenge you to feel that sympathy and empathy for them. Oh my God, that's how horrible they feel inside of them. Only then they can spew that poison on you. Otherwise, they can't do that, right? That's how us human work. Whatever is within us gets projected out on other people. Never forget that fact. Never, ever, ever. Just that alone is going to give you so much freedom in relationships, so much freedom back in your life. But you have to implement it. You have to practice it. If you don't practice it, it's just a knowledge, it's just a training that you listen to and you did not implement, so nothing is going to change in your life. So now let's go into 10 empowered filters. Our goal is to catch when we are going into victim mode and we are giving away our power, catch ourselves in that moment and right away switch into empowered way of living, empowered way of thinking. So the first one is I cause my life. Now, it has taken me 1 year or 1 year plus to really understand what does it mean I cause my life. So anything that is within you is going to get projected out into your life. You're struggling in your relationship, inside you're struggling with your relationship with yourself. You're struggling with abundance outside, inside you're struggling with abundance. Now, where that inside struggle is, just going to help you understand a little bit more. It's your unconscious beliefs. Those unconscious beliefs were created in the past at some point in your life. Most of them are between 0 to 7, and they need to shift. That is what we call inner work. They need to shift for things to change outside of you. So I am causing my life. God is not causing my life. Other people are not causing my life. Universe is not causing my life. I am the center of my universe. I am the power. I have the free will. Whatever I'm going to believe, I'm going to create outside of me. Whatever I'm going to think, I'm going to create outside of me. This brings the utmost responsibility in your life, and every single part of your body is going to want to maybe attack me and say, Alia, how wrong you are. No, God gives me happiness. God gives me this. We want to go that route so we can stay in the victim mode. God has given us free will. And we are all free to live the happiest life we want, the most miserable life we want. You could have $0 in your bank account and still be so happy. You could have million in your bank account and be extremely miserable. God is not doing anything. It's us doing things to ourselves. So the more you understand, maybe I can do a teaching just on how we cause our life so you understand more. But just for this training, whenever you go into why that person did that to me, just go right away into I cause my life. But this is a place of no judgment. You cannot be in this spot growing with judgment. We go into judgment like, why I'm doing this to myself, why would I do such horrible things to myself? That's judgment. But look at it from a place of curiosity. If I am causing my life, what is it within me that's causing the results that I have outside of me right now? What is it? I just had a very honest moment with myself yesterday where there's one specific part I am working on in my life, and it looks like a huge mess right now. And I asked myself, I just sat down and I was like, Alia, why or what within you is creating that? And I got the answer that I don't trust myself to create what I'm creating. So if there's no trust, how the circumstances are going to change. And if I don't become honest, I'm always going to blame somebody else. But the problem is within me. Like the level of trust needs to go higher. So right away, I started working on, okay, what does higher level of trust look like? What is it that needs to change within me? Maybe the way I think, the way I interact, the way I show up for myself that would increase that trust within me. Yes, this trust is already solid. There's always another level of trust. When we want to go a higher level in life, all of us needs to get upgraded. My trust needs to go higher. My belief has to go higher. Everything has to go higher. Now, let's say I'm here and I want to go another level up. Everything else needs to increase again, all over. And the more you do it, the easier it gets even to point out, oh, that's where things need to change. That's how I was able to just ask myself, got the answer, started the work. And if I need help, I'm gonna get help from my coach and I'll be up leveling to another level in such a easy way without blaming anybody. So this is how I want you to think that you are causing your life. So you are in that empowered place of responsibility moving forward all the time. Okay, so the next one is I create my thoughts, my feelings, and my reaction. So this is when someone comes and they just throw things at you, and then you're like, oh my God, I am feeling so sad right now. This person made me feel sad. And we just go down and we're just down now for like next 1 week. Whatever someone else says, it's up to you how you receive it, how you process it, and how you internalize it. If when you're receiving and you're like, oh, this person is just projecting whatever is within them, it goes back, it doesn't even get inside of you. And then you ask yourself, how do I want to feel right now? You can feel neutral, you can feel excited, you can feel calm. You decide your ability to choose, you exercise that. That is staying in your power, and no matter what the situation is. Yes, it does require work. It does require that level of detachment and growth within you. If you need help, you can reach out to me. This is exactly the kind of work I do with my clients. But I want you to know you have the ability to choose how you feel, how you react, and what kind of thoughts you're going to have. Moving forward to the third one, I can explain, but do not complain about my results, circumstances, and action. It is so important in relationships. So mostly something will happen and we'll go into explaining, and that's what happened. That's why I did that. And then this happened, and that's why I did that. Just keep in mind, whenever you go into explaining, it comes from a low self-esteem, a low self-image. You feel like you're not enough and you need to just explain your side of the story. It's just a behavior that you can change. You can create a new boundary with yourself. I do not explain anymore. I just, sorry, I do not, I completely lost myself in there. I can explain, but I do not complain. That is coming later on. So let's say something is happening, you can explain about it, but don't go into complaining. You can explain the situation. Over explaining is not allowed either. That's not an empowered place. But you can tell the person, for example, again, I'm going to take the example of a tire getting punctured. So you can say like, hey, I was going in a road and then a nail got stuck in there and now I need to replace the tire or I need to get it fixed. Instead of complaining how bad the roads are here and how the town is not taking care of them and all those details, that would be complaining. You can just explain the situation. This is what's going on. Just stay with the facts. So that's where you will start looking in your life. Where do you go from just explaining, just telling into complaining. And if you find yourself over explaining, this was the thought that got mixed up. If you find yourself over explaining, that's when you're looking for safety. You want to be protected in that moment. You don't want to be attacked. And that is so common in relationships, especially unhealthy relationships. We feel like we have to explain to this person with all the gory details why we are saying what we are saying, but the truth is, the other person, if you're in that conversation, the other person doesn't even have the ability to understand what your side of the story is. They're just stuck in one way of thinking, and they're like, my way is the highway, no matter how much you explain. So there you can just state the facts, don't complain, and just leave it at that. Once you are learning this way of being, it's all creating boundaries within yourself where you order yourself, you stop here. Like I tell myself, Alia, you stop here. Even if I have to change, you know, something big, with time, I have learned to just tell the facts, not going into complaining, and move on. If other person is complaining, I'll just tell them, hey, it is what it is. Let's move on and have the next piece of the conversation. Okay, the fourth one is I refuse to take things personally. This is going to create so much liberation in your relationships. It goes back to whenever someone comes and they throw things at you, they are just projecting what's within them. It's not about you, my friend. It's not about you. The day you realize this and you internalize it, you're going to be so free. People come up to me and say all kind of horrible things um, based on the kind of work I do. It doesn't affect me at all. It did, like in 2018, it did, but now in 2022, it doesn't, because I know whatever they are saying is not about me. It's them refusing to break out of their limitations. So they're just gonna say, hey, what you're doing is not, like, the right thing to do. It's magic, or it's this, or it's too much out in the sky. But me, my drive is, I want to, like, I have this deep desire to discover how unlimited I am as a human. So I do go study like some crazy stuff, which Alia from the past wouldn't have, because that is my deep desire. It's not the desire of the person who thinks I am doing crazy stuff, but I enjoy it. See the difference in two people? Nobody's right or wrong. When they're going to look at me, and, let's say if I just share, one day I was just about to faint, and just activating an energy point, I didn't faint. I stopped it. So if you're talking to it about with, like, a person who just knows the human body only, they have not studied the energy body, they'd be like, that has to be magic. That's not right. Either you're lying or it has to be magic. It has nothing to do with me. That's where they are internally. I cannot take that personally. What I know is my truth. What they know is their truth. So if they are a close friend, if they are my family member, if they are, like, somebody close to my heart, I would want to get offended, but that's my boundary. I need to create with myself. Hey, Alia, we are not taking things personally. So that is something you need to create with yourself, not to take things personally, because each and every one of us are separate beings. We are different. And it's a good thing that we are different. There's nothing bad about it. Moving along, I own and do not blame. So this is when we go back to I caused my life. You are going to own everything instead of blaming. For example, if I am in a conflict and the other person is saying, it's all your fault, why did you do this? You're making me feel like this. I would just go into like, okay, I understand. I understand maybe something I would have said or done made you feel this way. I'm not going to play the blame game. I'm not going to say what's wrong with me. I'm just going to own, yeah, maybe I would have done something that, that person didn't like. Own, drop, move on. We don't have to sit there and go into like blame. Let's blame you, and now let's blame you, and one person has to win. When you have this filter, I own and do not blame, you're not going to have arguments anymore. Like my arguments have gone down to like minimum. I can't even remember the last time I had like a hard, full blown argument. Like there was this one incident online with somebody who just I would not give you all the details. Even then, it's like, at the third message, I was like, peace out. I'm out of here. I hope you find what you're looking for. So not going into that back and forth is going to give you so much energy and power back to create whatever else you want to create in your life. So use that I own and do not blame, and the arguments in your life is just going to go down. I alone create and choose to be happy. This is another one of those that is going to liberate you. When we are in a relationship, we want the other person to do things to make us happy. We want it, we crave for it. But that leads us into trouble big time, because no one else has the ability to fill your happiness tank. Only you have the ability to fill your happiness tank. So wherever you are, for example, if you're a wife and you have a husband and he's doing everything he can, but you only look at life from the victim filters, it's impossible for him to make you happy. Impossible. Even if he does everything the way you want it, because your filters are going to be projected outward, and you're just going to feel like, oh, everything is, bad. He's not good. See, he didn't do that thing. But let's say you're the same wife, same husband, and then you move into empowered way of thinking, empowered filters, where you're taking back all your power, and you say, in this moment, I get to decide how I'm going to feel. And I'm choosing to feel happy, peaceful, joyful. He doesn't even have to do anything and you'll be happy. What we don't realize, we have a choice which emotion we want to experience. We feel like emotions are something that's happening to us. No, just like thoughts, you choose to be happy based on what you're focusing on. For example, this morning I woke up and I wasn't feeling very well. I woke up with vertigo, which is very interesting. In the past, it will take me like 3 days and some medicine to get rid of it. I just did some healing on myself. Took a 2 hour nap, woke up feeling perfectly fine. Nothing is spinning anymore. I know how I got myself to that point where my body got that sick. But this morning when I woke up, my eyes just opened with like, a sudden feeling, and the whole room was spinning. I closed them again. I was like, maybe I ended up in the wrong spot. I opened it again, and no, the room was actually spinning. So I knew, okay, I have vertigo right now. I got out of bed. I went to the bathroom, did my thing, and I looked in the mirror. And I was just smiling. I was so happy. Even I was thinking, I'm so happy right now. But I was just so happy, because that is how I'm choosing in that moment that, oh my God, today's going to be an interesting day. I have not had an episode of vertigo since maybe like I was um, sometime in my 20s. So it's been at least more than a decade that, I had something like this, and never after having a child. So I was like, today's going to be a very interesting day. It was me creating that happiness. No one was giving me that happiness in that moment. I could have sat there and cried how I'm going to do it, like how the day is going to go. right away at 4:30 a.m. I think I had sent quite a few messages to get the support to, like, get the help that was going to take me through the day till I have done healing and feeling perfectly fine sitting in front of you all right now. That is the power of choice. That is the reason I'm sharing this story with you. That is the power of choice. I decided how to feel in that moment. You all have that choice. No matter how difficult your relationships are, you all have the choice if we come out of the victim filters. But if you choose to stay in the victim filters, no one can ever make you happy. Even if you get married with a jokester, even or if you're already married with a with a with a person who joke around all that time, you still won't be happy. You make yourself happy, reminding yourself all day long, I choose to be happy. It's going to liberate you. The next one is I'm calm and confident. It's a filter. It's a way of thinking, it's a way of living, it's an empowered way of being. You decide, I am calm and confident no matter what the situation is. That's how you go into an argument, you go into a very difficult situation, calm and confident, because you have decided it. You don't have to get to the level of confidence, you don't have to get to the level of calmness. You decide and you become it. The next one is I live in the present and not past. This, my friend, it does take a lot of work to break away from the past and stay in the moment. It's not an easy thing. I'm talking from experience. Now, I would say after working very diligently for past 2 years, I am more in the present than I have been ever before. And it does require work. It does require healing your triggers, whatever triggers you, because it's like, let's say you're just in the mall and a song comes on and that song meant something to you in the past. You're going to be in the past, you're not going to be in the present moment. But once you resolve what that song meant for you in the past, you're going to stay in the present moment. You're going to stay here in the now. You're not going to be get pulled in the back. So that kind of healing, that kind of inner work, again, that is the work I do with my clients. You need that kind of help, please reach out to me. The more you come in the present, the more power you have. No one can take that power away from you if you have the ability to stay in the present. For example, if someone comes up and say something to you that's not very polite, your mind is going to go, in the past, that person said that to me. You're not here. You don't have any power if you're not here. But if you have started to live in the present moment, and again, staying in the present moment requires healing your past trauma. You can do it, you could start doing it by pulling your awareness into the moment. You can just keep telling yourself, I'm here in the now. Sometime when my mind goes into and it wants to jump in the past, as soon as I can catch it, I'll just bring it back. I'll be like, how about we focus on it? How about we stay here in the now? Just stay in this moment. It does require a little bit of exercising your will. But if you keep doing it, it feels so good to be in the present moment. Your body gets used to that energy because it's a lot of energy when you're in the present moment. Your mind gets used to being here in the now. It feels almost un uh, what's the word I'm looking for? It feels foreign to go into the past now or jump into the future. But it's a feeling that your body has to get used to. It's almost like, when you have a habit, for example, I developed habit of daily meditation. Now, I don't have to meditate. My body makes me meditate. Like if I skip a day, my body just feels so weird. It's like, no, you have to make time, you have to do it. And it's effortless. So that's the feeling you get. People who run every day, they don't have to find motivation to run anymore. They just get up and they go for a run. Even if they are on vacation, they make time for it. So that's how it's going to get. But you do have to do the work to do the healing, focusing on staying in this moment and being here. That is one of the most beautiful gift as a human you can give to yourself by being in the now. It's a very different energy. Like when all these teachers they talk about Eckhart Tolle, he talks a lot about the power of now, staying in the now. When they talk about like being in the now, I'm telling you, it's not overrated. The more I'm coming into the now, the more I'm enjoying life so much more because it just feels very different. It feels good different when you can hold space in the moment. You stay here and nothing around you is taking into your past or very into the future. So what you can do just for now, if you feel that your mind is going into the past, just say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. It's almost like a kid that's running away and you just bring it back and you're like, I'm sitting here, you're sitting here. It's that kind of approach. Right now, just practice that. But if you want to do the deeper work to experience that kind of happy energy of the now, reach out to me and we can talk about that. Number 9 is I create my intention. So that is you start directing your life and your day as soon as you wake up. So let's say you wake up in the morning. We are really over time here. You wake up in the morning, you start setting your intention. This is who I'm going to be today. It's a new filter you're creating every single day. Today, I'm going to do my best. Today, I'm going to have a beautiful day. You are setting your intention. If you're going to meet with somebody that you have a difficult relationship with, you set the intention. I'm going to be my calm and confident self. We are going to have a beautiful interaction. So what you're doing, you're pre-framing how things gonna go. So what your mind is going to do when you have that filter on, even if the other person will start creating some kind of drama, your mind will stay focused on your intention. It's a very, very powerful tool to use to to have power in your relationship. If you are going through that phase in your marriage where arguments happen every day, you make the intention, today I'm choosing not to have any argument, and you will see how things will start changing. The last one is I look for good in others. So why it's so important to have that filter? Sometimes we think if we are just looking for good in other, we are gullible and we are just so innocent and we don't know anything about life. It's actually a very good skill and a filter to have and a way of living to have, because it keeps the spark of trusting other people alive. And it's very important to have that spark alive, because if you stop trusting other people, it means you stop trusting yourself, because whatever is within us gets projected outward. Some people think, oh, I have hard time trusting people. When you talk to them, they're like, oh, I trust myself a lot. That's an illusion they're in. If I trust myself, I will have no problem trusting anybody. Because the reason we stop trusting other people is we feel like, what if this person betrays me? I'm going to be a hot mess. That means I don't trust myself that I'll take care of myself. So if I don't trust somebody else, I don't trust myself. But this is how a solid trust look like. I'm going to trust this person. Even if they betray me, I'll be okay. I know how to take care of myself. I'll be okay. That's when you're not having problem trusting other people and seeing the good in others. Because if we shut down that filter and if we start thinking like everyone is bad, it's a very miserable way of living. It's not just like living as a victim, it's a miserable way of living. World is full of wonderful people. We all have so much goodness within us. Sometimes it get masked by, you know, when the darkness take over a little bit. We all have the darkness within us. It's our responsibility to work on that, and it's our responsibility to also see the good in other people. So that brings us to a conclusion: how to take back power in all your relationship, and I'll say in all your life. I hope you have benefited from this conversation, from this teaching. If you're ready to take this journey within for yourself, I'll say reach out to me. If you are getting in your email the recording, just reply back to me. Reach out to me on Facebook. If you're just watching it randomly on my YouTube channel, you can just Google Alia the Love Coach. You'll find me. Let's get you to that empowered place in your life so you get to enjoy life however you want it. I'm sending you all lots of love, and I'll see you next Thursday. Love you. Bye.